Welcome to this edition of School Matters. I'm Joni Kopis for the Hamilton City School District, and today we have with us Mrs. Janet Baker, our superintendent. Welcome.
Thanks. It's great to be here again this year.
Our first time that we talked this year, so welcome. You're starting your 21st year as superintendent. That's hard to believe.
I am. It seems like only yesterday.
Well, good for you.
But you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun.
That's exactly right. So we got a lot to talk about as again starting the first of the year. I know you've been busy this year at the beginning of the school year. We have 23 new or reassigned administrators.
We do. That's unbelievable for our district. You know, occasionally you'll have 2 or 3, maybe 1, but 23 people who are either new to our district or new to administration, or they're in a new position. And that includes our principals and our dean of students and some central office staff.
And I know you personally like to mentor everyone, so you've been on the road a lot. We always tease you, we never know where you are, we wind you up each morning. So you do a lot of visits to the schools, make sure they're feeling good and comfortable, handle any situations that they may have.
I do. One of my greatest satisfactions in administration, being the superintendent, is to work with new people in the profession, because it's so important for them to get off on the right start. And obviously they're brand new in the position, so experience really helps.
Well, I think that's a hallmark of your superintendency. Principal just mentioned that again this week at a community committee meeting, and they said, you know, you're just everywhere and really very good about mentoring them and feel like, you know, you have ownership of them and make them feel good and wanted and
I love
needed.
to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's
great.
You do a good job. So we got 23 new reassigned administrators, also over 75 new teachers. Let's talk about those.
We do. Again, truly amazing in this day and age. You're reading about surrounding districts reducing teachers, and we were able to add. And that's always a great plus for a district too, because if you remember, when you get out of college and it's your first job, you're passionate, you're excited, you're optimistic, you think you can change the world. And that kind of a high energy level, current training brought into, coupled with our already great experienced staff, makes just a wonderful dynamic.
So you do like to have a nice blend of the new, they're so enthusiastic, but yet the veteran teachers also bring a nice thing to the table, so it's a nice blend for both.
Absolutely, they learn from one another.
Mm-hmm. And not only, you know, we always think new teachers, you know, young, fresh out of college, but we also have non-traditional teachers, which I think is a plus.
We do, and that's something we're always looking for, you know, a mix. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, there are a lot of people who raise their families and then go back and get their degrees, and of course what they bring is the richness of their life experiences.
Mm-hmm. So then they also teach the younger, the fresh out of college ones as well about their life experience that obviously they've never had reached yet at that point. So,
sure.
Good. Also, along with new teachers, new administrators, the beginning of the school year, we're always worried about our official enrollment, which is always the first week of October.
Right. You kind of hold your breath with that because your funding is driven by that. Absolutely. So if nothing else other than finances alone, you're looking for that to be up. Mm-hmm. And in urban communities, many times school district numbers are declining at rapid rates, and they're losing students to charter schools. So we kind of defy that trend, mm-hmm. which I think is just a great accomplishment. This year alone, we're up about 150 students. And of course, not only does that bring revenue in, but it also tells me that people have a lot of confidence and faith in our school district and are eager to get the high quality education that we offer.
And looking at both this year and last year, between the 2 years, it's about 250 additional students. So again, that says a lot, I think, about our district and our programs.
It does. And of course, it doesn't hurt that we have brand new state-of-the-art facilities.
Mm-hmm. Also, national award-winning district, as we mentioned too. But we truly believe the diversity of our programs, we offer everything. We offer a lot to every different student, whether their talent or their needs. So being comprehensive high school job development or career technical center, as we call it now, again, that's a nice feather in our cap.
That's absolutely a uniqueness of our district. I think if you look around Butler County, you won't find that. If students are pursuing the work path, they'll usually go off-site to do that. So we have this fabulous, mm-hmm. state-of-the-art comprehensive high school job development center. So regardless of what a student's pathway is, whether they're going to a 4-year college, a 2-year college, they're going right into the workforce, right into the military with our ROTC program, there's something for every student. So if there's a word to describe Hamilton City Schools, it's opportunities for students.
I agree. Also, in addition to having the new enrollment or the increased enrollment, we also offer open enrollment. So let's talk a little bit about that.
We do. That's something that we did a few years ago, and we weren't quite sure how it was going to work. And many other districts had done that. So again, what that does, you're always looking for ways to support your funding. So we have about 160 students in our district, of course that's pre-K-12, right, who come in from other districts. And what's great about that is, of course, it brings revenue to our school district, but more importantly, if we have a little idle capacity in a classroom, we can take 1, 2, 3 students, and certainly we're very discriminating with looking at the records and making sure that they're going to be good citizens and good students for us.
And it doesn't affect, we don't add additional staff for that.
No,
it's a nice
you're looking at, if you have a low class size, you may add 1 or 2 students to that.
Right, that's great. And let's brag a little bit because, the whole reason we're in here is for education and serving our students. We have 2 Hamilton High seniors that got some nice credit this fall. So let's talk about Mariah and Corey.
We're like proud parents. We're always partial about our own students' accomplishments, but one of the things that as the superintendent I look at, and the community out there should be looking at, is how do Hamilton High students compare with other students, not only across the state, but more importantly, across the nation. And so when you hear the term commended, national scholar, national finalist, your ears perk up. And this year we had 2 students that fall in that category, and that's just truly amazing.
Mariah Kraft?
Mariah Kraft, yes, was a semifinalist, and that's a very distinctive honor. Less than 1% of 1.5 million students get that honor. So that tells us our high school is preparing students to compete with any student across this nation. Yeah. And then Corey Verneau, NEET student, who is in the top 5% of that 1.5 million. So again, we're very proud, and what that tells us is that our top students can compete with top students from across the nation.
I know Mariah wants to be an oncologist, and I know Corey's trying to decide, but he said he really loves chemistry, so he may be doing some research or what have you. But again, just 2 examples, I think, of how strong our high school is and the students that are there.
Absolutely.
Very good. Also, again, we've talked many years about the master plan for facilities, and we finally got that all done after 10, 15 years. So we thought, let's go ahead and open up the doors one more time. We had a community-wide open house.
We did. As we were building the schools and we had the official dedication ceremonies, I would run into people and they would say, oh, I had a conflict that night and I wasn't able to get there. So we made the decision early on that once we finally finished Hamilton High School, and you know how that goes, all the stages that we've done, that we would open all of our buildings and encourage people to visit buildings other than maybe where their students went to school. So, a parent who had an elementary student might move up to the junior or middle school that they would be attending. If it was a 9th grade parent, they might move up to the high school. And well over 400 people attended that open house. So certainly it was a proud night for, I think, our school district.
Right, and looking at, we had sign-in sheets, and again, we had people, preschool parents, we had parents, as you said, moving from the elementary maybe to the middle school or high school to see what those schools were all about. We also had retired people or neighbors from the school. So it was a nice mix, I think, of who all walked through the doors.
Right, and I think what that reinforces for people who don't have school-age children, elderly people in the community, is certainly strong schools build strong communities. So the value for them, of course, is wonderful opportunities to volunteer, but more importantly, keeping their property values strong. You mentioned about, parents coming in. I got a really great email from a parent, and he basically said, we don't yet, we have 1 child, and we don't yet, she's not in school, but we wanted to visit, and he said, I have to tell you, we came with very high expectations. So you can imagine daddy's little girl, and they visited Bridgeport Elementary, and he sent this email to say, not only did that building meet my expectations, it exceeded it. From the confidence in the student tour guides, to the great common areas, to the concept of making large small, to the enhanced security. just a lot of features that really support teaching and learning in a great way for parents.
And again, opening the doors so they can see what's going on, great benefit for the schools.
Right.
And then I know we also received an email from a new employee of the city, and she's heard about the school, saw nice pictures, what have you, but she actually went in to visit a school, and she was totally blown away too. So it makes you feel good knowing that we talk about it all the time and brag, but it's nice to hear it from other people like, wow, this is pretty impressive.
And certainly, the city's one of our partners, so as they're trying to attract families and businesses into the community, to have these state-of-the-art schools is a great boast for them as well.
I think so. And I think another boost for us, or the district, a hallmark of our district, is our character and service learning piece. And the district received our National School District of Character Award a couple weeks ago. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
I do, Joni. When you think about the entire nation and you think about the lack of character that's highlighted on the news, for us to be singled out as to be the school who has the strongest character education program, pre-K through 12 in the entire nation, is something to really be proud of. And I know yesterday at our Business Advisory Council meeting, the question from the group was, how do you know this is making a difference in student lives? And the principals were there, new principals, 6 of them, to respond, and they talked about this conscience and this understanding of right from wrong, and knowing when they had done something wrong, what character trait it violated. So again, a common language, a building of good citizenship, as well as strong academics.
Well, again, the conference, it had 600 attendees from, I think, 41 states and 9 countries. So Hamilton City School District, that name was blasted throughout 41 states. They're pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I think the whole community has a lot to be proud of. And, they've been involved in our character education initiative, from, fill that bus to volunteering in buildings, that kind of thing.
Well, and service learning, which is part of the character, is, and you just recently found out about a group called Kids in Action.
I did. We have service learning at our high school. Celine Miller coordinates a group with Astra, and they do a lot of volunteerism in the community, and that's a real plus for them in terms of resume building and that kind of thing. But I got this tremendous email from one of our elementary principals, and she talked about a new group, Kids in Action. And I think just this past Saturday, they went out into the neighborhood and they tied it to our character ed program. And she said, we're showing compassion for people who can't do their own leaves. And they were raking leaves and doing baking, and I think they're going to have a used book sale. So they have a website now, and so again, beginning to teach students early on about the whole concept, the Rotary concept, if you will, of service above self.
And you said it was started by a parent, not necessarily a teacher, which is nice. That means we're spreading it outside the classroom, if you will.
Absolutely.
Parents are getting involved.
But they're tying what the schools are doing into their initiatives, which is great.
That's great. And the buzzword now, college and career ready, and we always like to say life ready, which is part of the whole character service learning project concept. But another college and career ready, again with the high school, recently starting on-site admissions. What a great initiative that is. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Right.
Bringing colleges into the high school.
Well, what we know, Joni, is that the days are gone when a student can get a high school degree and just say, I'm finished, and stop learning. A student or an adult, for that matter. Because we all have to constantly be learning. And we're trying to get more and more of our students into opportunities that are going to set them up to do well later in life. And we know that that whole college process can be a little daunting for some families, particularly if the student's a first-generation college student. So something really innovative that just produced great results happened last week at Hamilton High School. Our counselors sponsored, they brought one of the Bowling Green University in, and actually they had gone through the transcripts of students and knew which students would meet their enrollment criteria and were poised to offer on-site scholarships. So really cool. Several of our students received scholarships right on the spot. And of course
that had to make them happy, and their parents, I'm sure.
Oh, sure. I sat next to a young man at Civic Day yesterday, and he was talking to me about what he wanted to do, and he said, I'm going to be a teacher. And I said, oh, that's great. And I said, well, I'm sure you'll go to college. And he goes, oh, I already know what college I'm going to because they came on site. And he said, I already have a scholarship. So again, helping our students meet that goal of training, whether it is college or a trade school, training beyond high school.
I know you mentioned Bowling Green State University. I know they've got another one scheduled the next week or so, so they're trying to do a little bit more and add on. But it also complements the Hamilton Community Foundation's liaison that they have for us as well.
Oh, absolutely. For years we've been working with Miami Hamilton, and we've had them actually come in and work on site with our students. I don't know that they've gone the extra step of actually being able to award scholarships that particular time. But we have, yes, thanks to the support of education as a community priority by the Community Foundation, we have a liaison in the school whose job it is to target those students and families who need additional support. And again, that's helping our students reach their goals of being college and career and life ready.
And it's good now this time of year because they know where they're going, they're set, and they can enjoy the rest of their senior year as opposed to waiting till spring of their senior year and thinking, oh gosh, now what am I doing next? So you try to get them early.
Sure.
Well, that's great. And one of the things we met earlier, our new director of technology, Zach Vanderveen. Wow, what a find he was.
Oh, he was great. He's one of those 23. And actually, our 6 new principals came to our Business Advisory Council. And so I'm sitting there and they're talking a little bit about their experiences and their backgrounds and fielding questions. And all over again, I was impressed, as were I think our business
like a proud
people.
Mother, right?
Absolutely, because one was more impressive than the other with the wealth of background and experiences that they're bringing to the district. But we know that technology is changing the world, and of course it's changing the educational scene as well. And so for us to be able to find a unique individual who truly understands not just technology, but how technology supports teaching and learning, the integration of those two was a great find. And he's already begun to assess our wireless capacity, and we're moving ahead with iPads and exploring the concept of bringing your own device. So we've made just great strides, lots of training under his leadership, and that will continue into the future.
And you talk about training. He had a neat thing going on this week called Lunch and Learn. Explain a little bit about that.
They did. I think that was kind of a joint effort by our technology director, our instructional department, and our technology integration person. And we've been using a system called Schoology, and what that does is we know that all students learn at different rates and different times, and how do we engage students beyond the confines of the school day? And so Schoology is an opportunity for us to do that, to put things online, and teachers and students interact with one another. And so they highlighted that new approach, innovative approach with technology. And we had representatives from, I think, about 7 surrounding school districts who came in our new kind of state-of-the-art training facility at the board.
So another way for us to brag that we've got this going and learn from us because we know what we're doing. And
it's a real compliment. I think when you get calls of people wanting to know about how did you get that character education program going? How are you moving this technology ahead? What kind of strategies are you using to improve your academics? I think it tells you you're doing something right. Yeah. And we work hard at that.
Yeah, and Zach just said he's a really good find and he's a perfect fit for our district. He was at the Business Advisory Council meeting yesterday that you made reference to, along with our 6 new principals. And the Business Advisory Council, they're such an invaluable resource for us as we talk about college and career and life ready career. They bring a lot of information to share with us on how careers work.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Joni. I think back over my tenure as superintendent, and sometimes the job can seem huge, and you know that you can't do it alone. You know that it takes families and parents and staff, but more importantly, the larger community. And so as we're preparing these students to go out into the world and get great jobs and make their contribution, it's really important to stay current with everything changing like it is about the needs of business. So they're an advisory group to the school district, and we meet with them I think 4 or 5 times a year, highlight different programs, but more importantly, we value the input that they give us. For example, one of them said yesterday, our new administrators are so impressive. We need to get them on TV Hamilton. We need to take that out to the broader Hamilton community to see the kind of talent that we have in our school district.
It's a nice group who's in the Business Advisory Council. We have city representation, Miami University Hamilton, Hamilton Community Foundation, nonprofit organizations, small businesses. So we do get a well-rounded group of people to pull from.
Absolutely, and those are all partners that we have in the community that we have many initiatives going with. And certainly that's a philosophy of mine, that schools can't do it alone. And so this whole idea of collaboration and partnerships is what is really going to sustain us as we move into the 21st century.
Well, it sounds like at the beginning of the year we've been pretty busy.
We have.
And more to come.
More to come. Stay tuned.
I was going to say, we'll check back with you later in the year and see what else is going on. And I think right now we're off to a pretty good start.
I would agree with you.
Well, that's good.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, sure. We'll see you in a few months, I'm sure.
Okay.
And for TV Hamilton, I'm Joni Kopis. And thank you for joining us on this segment of School Matters, because school matters. See you next time.